Welcome back to Combat Sports Weekly. Joining us now is an undefeated boxer with the record of 11-0, Brian "La Bala" Mendoza. How you doing, man?
Good, you?
Pretty
Thanks
good.
for having me.
No, of course. Pleasure to finally have you on.
Yeah,
It's been a while since I
yeah.
last interviewed you. So, obviously here, coming out, you're originally from Rio Rancho, training out of Albuquerque. You're 11-0. How many fights have you had this year?
Last weekend was my 8th fight of the year.
How do you keep all that energy up to have that many fights in 1 year?
I'm actually always in the gym anyway. It's funny because my trainers, Fidel Maldonado and Manuel Anaya, they're constantly on me like, take a week off. But I'll take maybe like 2 days off and I'm back at it. So that's why this works perfect for me. And I love being in the ring. It's what makes the training worth it. So.
Now they're forcing you to take this week off, a holiday week. So is it pretty relaxing so far?
Yeah, it worked out. It's been a nice week. Now I get after this whole year, I finally get a good week off. Yeah. And I kind of had to anyway. My knuckles were all swollen after this last fight. So.
Yeah. You fought in Hobbs. How did that fight go?
It was good. I fought an awkward fighter, first time going the full 6 rounds. But I got good experience against something I hadn't seen before. So.
Yeah. How did you get your start in boxing?
It was really it just piqued my interest watching fights, because I used to actually hate it when I was little. But after the years went on, I started seeing like the science behind it.
Yeah.
And then I kept telling my dad, hey, let me join. But they wouldn't let me. And I just, being a nuisance, they finally let me join, and I fell in love from the first day I was in the gym.
Yeah, you're also going to school, right, and doing boxing at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that a difficult balance to maintain both schedules?
It can be, but like I've said in other interviews, it's just something I've always done. I've been boxing since freshman year, so it's just something, like I said, I've always done. So it's kind of habit, but it can be tough now with college courses.
You mentioned your trainer being Fidel Maldonado Sr. One of your main sparring partners is Fidel Maldonado Jr., who's the top prospect here out of essentially the state out of the state of New Mexico. So what's it like to train with someone that's been in that high, I guess, of a class and of a caliber?
It's made a huge difference, because when I first started, I didn't have too much of that natural talent, just great on the first day of training, and just from sparring him over years and years, it's helped me a lot. Yeah. And just getting his knowledge from all his experience. I only have a few amateur fights, so it helped me get past the little experience, and I just learned more from him through that.
Now, Fidel, he had over 100 amateur fights, and you had less than 30. Yeah. So do you feel that experience that you didn't necessarily have in the amateurs is made up because of who your main sparring partner is?
Exactly, yeah. Him and Fidel Maldonado Sr., they've taught me everything, and then I study boxing too on the side all the time. So it's made a huge difference. His experience, I've just fed off that.
Yeah. What are you studying in school?
Nutrition.
What do you hope to do with it?
Anything in the medical field, I guess, but I really just picked it to help out with boxing.
Yeah, and obviously you're only 21 years old here. You're 11-0 already. How many more fights are you hoping to get here in 2016?
2016, I hope to reach a minimum of 18-0.
Yeah.
Minimum, so we're hoping to get like 20, something like that.
Why is that the magic number for you?
It's just where I feel I can, like the level of experience I'll need, because every fight I'm just progressing like huge amounts. So that just feels like that number. And then talking to my manager, Cameron Duncan, and with Fidel Maldonado too. Yeah. So it just feels right. It's where it's at.
Now, you brought up Cameron Duncan, who's obviously one of your managers here. He's had guys like Danny Romero, Timothy Bradley. So what's it like, and the feeling of having someone that's that well known within the boxing community?
Oh, it's huge. He's already I've only had 11 fights, but he's opened huge doors for me. I've had top rank scouts look at me. I've met them. Golden Boy knows me. Big companies. So just starting off, he's opened huge doors for me. Yeah. And I can't wait for the future with that.
Yeah. We talked about it. He's had a history here because he was with Danny Romero for a while. He was Fidel's manager for a while, and he's been able to do some great things for them. So I know this is early on in your career, but when do you hope to be fighting for a title? Obviously, at 18-0, that's when people really start looking at you.
Yeah. That's why I say a minimum of 18-0, but it could be around that. So it could be late 2016, early 2017. Yeah. But that's why we're fighting back to back, just getting through this. We want to get to that title shot.
We talked about your commitment and not taking much time off, but you also make like a 40-minute drive every day to train all the way from Rio Rancho. Yeah. Do you ever think, man, I should just move?
I've thought about it, but it's where I'm at right now. And then the drive's worth it. I'm with the best trainer around, so I have the best team around, so it's worth it. That's what's given me the drive to be able to drive all the way down there. But
Who are some of the boxers that you emulate, or some of your favorite boxers? I get throughout history. I like asking the young boxers this.
There's a lot. I like the smartness, the experience of Guillermo Rigondeaux, the Cuban.
Yeah.
But my favorite boxer is Andre Ward because I actually have a lot of similar traits from his style, and I learned a lot from him. And those are my top two.
Yeah, the experience we talked about, going back to Fidel here a little bit. Obviously, he had a big fight against Amir Imam, and you've been in his corner for most of those fights. So, what's some kind of the knowledge that you acquire in watching those big fights?
Everything. When I'm walking out with him, I feel like I'm walking out. I get the motivation. I want to be there walking out at the MGM just like he was, and I just get everything. I get motivation, experience. I've been there. I've been in the ring, looked at the crowd, and I just feel like that's for me. That's where I want to be.
Yeah. You show a lot of patience in your fights, I think. If you know the KO's there, or if you feel that you can get some extra rounds or extra work in, you actually take it. Do you go into every fight with one game plan or another?
No, not at all. I go in there, well, my first game plan is just jab and see what they bring off that. But I don't want to be stuck to one thing, because then if they're countering that, I might get stuck and get in trouble.
Yeah.
But no, it's just all about patience. That's just who I am. I'm real calm and collected when it comes to that. So I just work off whatever they bring and adjust.
What's been your toughest fight so far?
My second fight in Arizona, I got my nose broken for the first time. And yeah, it was just a guy that, it was tougher than I expected, I guess, but it was really good experience. It's one of the fights I learned the most from.
Yeah. How big of a surprise was that? Did you know your nose was broken, or?
No, I just knew I was bleeding, but that happens anyway. So, and the adrenaline in the moment, it's no big deal. But my trainer told me after that he had to snap my nose in place.
Wow.
So yeah, but it was just it didn't surprise me too much, but still, it's still a surprise.
Yeah. So. You're pretty heavy on social media, so before we go ahead and let the people know where they can reach you on all of them, because I think you're on every single social media platform.
That's at La Bala Mendoza all across the board, and then Brian Marino Mendoza on Facebook, and I also have a fan page, Brian La Bala Mendoza.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for coming on.
Congratulations
on all your success. Again, 11-0, 7 KOs, just 21 years old. So make sure you guys check him out. Brian La Bala Mendoza, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
And hang out, see us debate on who the fighter of the years are here in a little bit at the round table.
Of
Catch
course.
you guys after the break.